In 2006, I started my journey into communications, and I asked an individual to give me some support by allowing me to be an intern during their term as being mayor in Irvington, New Jersey. That individual is the Honorable Mayor Wayne Smith. Fast forward to today, and I'm back in the driver's seat. Please welcome the former mayor of Irvington, New Jersey, and now the current chairman of the International Youth Organization, the Honorable Wayne Smith.
Herbert, it's a delight to again work with you and to share communication in terms of what we both are now doing. And I want to thank you for my tenure as mayor for providing some valuable services to not only me, but to the Irvington community. And through your nonprofit, We Care Partners, doing some tremendous work around health and wellness. And I'm sure as we both move forward in our collective lives and careers that we'll be working together again in the capacity of my role as chairman of the International Youth Organization. So here's my give back. I'm a product of IYO.
How about that?
As a young man, I had the opportunity of walking from one side of the city to the other. IYO was my pit stop. It was a safe haven, and it still serves as such for young people here in the city of Newark. And so the Wallaces were mentors to me and actually helped set my direction in the public spheres. But now I'm mostly in the private sector. But the one overwhelming challenge that I'm engaged in now is being chairman of the board of International Youth Organization. So I'm delighted to do that, and we have some current plans that we are engaged in critically, and we have some future plans that are also awesomely exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's anyone that's happier that you lost that election, it is Miss Carolyn Wallace. Because as we work, and I work with you, and that's my relationship. I'm going to give you my word and help to find an opportunity for us to be successful together, regardless of how the outcome is. And Miss Wallace was at that time looking for someone to challenge her role as chairman. And all she kept saying is that, I hope I can get Wayne. I hope I can get Wayne. And we worked around a long time trying to get other individuals to have that commitment of dedication that you have in relationship when you do community services. And it is an honor that you are continuing to do it at a level where it's needed the most.
Yeah,
and that's incredible.
Yes, and so let me just tell you where we're at. So my wife has actually joined on board, and we're trying to replicate the Wallace model of leadership around young people here in the city of Newark, my hometown. I served in Irvington so long, but people forget I was born and raised here. I'm a product of its public schools. IYO is one of the institutions that birthed me as a public figure. So it's my opportunity to give back to my hometown. So my wife has joined the board, and we're going to try to replicate that Wallace formula. So here's where we are today. We run one really core program for high school dropouts who are 16 years old to age 25. And we do a couple things. We get them their GED. We do GED prep, we do job readiness prep, and we also do job search, and we have relationships with employers where we actually try to get them jobs. So that's our core program. Now we're about to expand into, when I was a kid, IYO almost serviced kids 6 to 60. And when I say 60, we also had family-oriented programs as well. We want to get back into that space. So our initial steps is we're increasing the board. If there's anybody out there who has skills that they think they can bring to a 501c3 nonprofit that's had a 40-year history. The Wallaces started IYO in 1970. It was a critical time for Newark because that was also the ascension of Kenneth Allen Gibson as mayor of the city of Newark. And so there was a whole lot of social change. It was a whirlwind going around the city of Newark, almost equivalent to today. I mean, history has a tendency to repeat itself. So the excitement about Newark today and the excitement in 1970 are almost equivalent. Challenges just as great as well around the lives of our challenged families here in the city of Newark. So all hands on deck, and an institution as old and has a legacy like IYO does, we want to keep that legacy alive. And so we've taken on that challenge. So one of the things, as you well know, is you got to have a media operation to do that. So we've launched our media center right in the IYO building, run by a young man named Greg Williams. So we're going to do some exciting things with that. He's a filmmaker as well. And we're going to try to engage young people in the production of TV shows of their own, even some of our core members. He's going to be training some of them as part of our youth core curriculum. And then we want to open up the building to others who would rent the facility, because we got to raise revenue. The nonprofit world has changed. Vis-a-vis is what happened on the national level with our president. And there's some people got that slogan, he's not our president, but he has the legal wheels of the United States government. So grants, if you looked at the president's budget, grants for nonprofits it's going to be a different paradigm. So we've also adopting some business models. We already have, we also use the facility for people who can't afford the bigger facilities for baby showers and other celebrations they might want to have. But in the media center, we're looking for filmmakers who want a place to shoot, television producers who want a place to shoot.
I got Lisa Durden.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of them. We also want to do affordable places for films. We're going to get registered with the New Jersey Motion Pictures Commission, so that filmmakers around the world who are looking for sites can possibly look at IYO.
That's a creative idea.
Oh, yeah.
And looking at how you would take the community and then provide it as an asset for individuals who are challenged, especially when it comes down to funding, and to look how you could partner with them. And I think that that's what it was in terms of why Ms. Wallace thought you would be the ideal individual. You've always had a consciousness for wanting to find a pattern that didn't seem to be existent, and then bringing it to existence. My program, just as you stated, We Care Partners didn't exist. We found the pattern. We got it where it needs to be, and we're continuing to challenge other opportunities that is going to make it greater, especially when it comes to delivering services to our community. In the context of providing that opportunity, because we know that IYO was a standard program, like so many, UCC, United Community Corporation, and
which
others.
I was on the board one time in my career as well.
But a lot of them are not really staying afloat. A lot of them are shutting down and not getting the funding properly, or they're directing their assets and efforts into one particular demographic. What is it that's going to really give you the kind of structure to ensure that dealing with your program on more than one level is going to be successful?
Well, it's like most companies. You have a core business, and that keeps you afloat, and then you have to diversify to figure out other revenue streams. So we're bringing a business model to this nonprofit. We're looking at our building as an asset that we have to recapitalize. We're also going to run a capital program to fix up the building. We're also allowing the building to be used and leased for different programs. We're also looking to partner with other people so that that space is effectively used by the community. So we are talking to a number of organizations who want space in the building, and also we're going to serve as an incubator for. We've run into a number of young people who have brilliant ideas and have even created nonprofits, but don't have the space. Sometimes they need a fiscal agent. We've got this 47 years of experience running nonprofits as an institution, so we're working with a number of them. So we're really talking about diversifying our approach to nonprofits. We're going to be doing some different things. One is we're looking at even operating a thrift shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. We have, and in fact, we've already begun to collect clothes in that regard.
And a lot of folk do.
Well,
I'm a product of it myself.
The challenge for even some of our youth corps clients. So and So
that means you're probably going to put a food.
So we work with Dress for Success.
Okay.
Yep. But we want to begin to say, how do we figure this out for the whole community?
And the business side.
And so we generate a revenue from providing affordable clothes when they go for job interviews and that kind of thing. So those are some of the things we're going to bring to the table. We're also really looking at other programs. We were honored to receive a grant from Whole Foods at the opening of the new store in Newark. And it was an old program that we re-engaged around community gardens. So we're going to do a community garden right in that community. We just had our introductory meeting with the conservatory, which we worked with in the past. So we've renewed that relationship, so we have the technical expertise to make sure that the young people who get involved with gardening know all the proper ways to grow, whether it's vegetables or fruits or whatever. We're looking at even some health models. Some of the challenges Some of our people have a deal with substance abuse. So we've had some recovery coach training that we began to introduce to staff and some other community members. So we're looking at all of the needs, and we've always been an agency that dealt with the most challenged population.
True.
And we want to continue in that vein. So we also hope to engage the youth house. So many of the young people who get out don't have their GEDs. We want to engage them to see if we can capture that audience to come in and get them engaged in Youth Corps. So we're going to be aggressive on the ground. We're growing a team to be out there, to be engaged. We also want to, and part of what we're going to do even with this platform through our studio is IYO TV, which is a new concept in media, where we're going to be having conversations with all kinds of young people.
And you'll draw a lot of people who are looking for an opportunity to have a way in which they could market what it is that they're doing.
Absolutely.
And to do it in
and a platform for them to speak and through media. Yeah.
And they, again, it's nothing different. It's just, like you say, you brought a business model to the table. And it's very important for anyone who wants to be successful in relationship to bringing their ideas to existence. There has to be a real major plan so that it can be effective. When we think about the idea of what's going on at IYO, we understand that there have been a number of individuals. You yourself, you went on and you became a successful government leader, and now you're still involving yourself in an economic base as the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce of...
Yeah, I'm the president of the South Orange Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, so it's the president.
Yeah.
Well, now, in terms of your relationship of being a part of that opportunity, how does that help you create the kind of resources to see that it can be helpful in that community as well?
Well, let's just say I'm also a banker. So, so I work with BCB Community Bank. Our focus is residential mortgage lending to the community, and my office is right in South Orange. So as a result of having worked in South Orange, I got engaged in the chamber, was kind of drafted to be the president as we rebuild the chamber, and so we've done that. We actually have an event on March 25th. March 30th. I'm sorry, March 30th. Miss Wallace's birthday party.
Right, the alumni party.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that.
We're
going to really talk about some events. But go on.
So we at being involved with the chamber in South Orange, I end up being the president of the chamber as we rebuild that institution to promote the local business community, and provide a platform for people to network, to get to know each other, and to do business with each other, and promote the institutions that are there. So our upcoming event is at Rick Halton's at 19 Valley Street in South Orange, and we've been at a number of the other local institutions just to provide a platform for businesses to talk. This one will have an interesting forum because we'll have a speaker. Old Cablevision employee was honored by this group called Think and Profit. So I have a guest speaker and the young man who runs that organization. I have Jill Johnson coming, who runs IFL, the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership. And Jill is a resident of South Orange, so we get a chance to highlight her. And because it's Women History Month, we'll be honoring Jill, a local attorney named Elaine Harris, as well as the branch manager at BCB Community Bank, Claudine Baptiste. So, chambers promote the local economy.
Right.
That's what they're designed to do.
And the building blocks of it. So the kind of energy now that you're bringing into that environment is really associated in the same level of marketing and all of the things
PR
that you have always been doing,
sure.
With Wayne Associates.
Yeah, sure.
Looking at it from the idea of how effectively it will work in the same vein as government leaders, mayors working together to see some things happen. Are there interchangeable relationships with other commerces or chamber?
Yes. In fact, I just hosted, we have a forum where the Maplewood Chamber of Commerce, the South Orange Chamber of Commerce, the Livingston Chamber of Commerce, the Milburn Short Hills Chamber of Commerce, we have this council of chambers that we meet, and I actually hosted the last president's forum of that meeting. And on April 1st, we have an exciting meeting of all those chambers, and we're inviting all the 22 mayors of Essex County to come talk with a focus on what are their administrations doing to help and assist local businesses and grow the business economy. Mayor Baraka is a special guest, and will highlight, as he did in his State of the City address that I went to the other night at NJPAC, the work that he's doing in the city of Newark. So as Ken Gibson said it best, not only wherever American cities go, Newark will get there first, but it's first in the county and everywhere else. So these suburban chambers, if you will, are also interested in the growth and development of Newark, because it's a reflection and a growth pattern that stems out into the suburbs as well.
Well, you know, it's interesting when you talk about FIRST, and many of the people, if you're tuning in, I'm here with Wayne Smith, who is now the chairman of IYO, the International Youth Organization, and the president of the Chamber of Commerce of South Orange. You were the first one to come up with the idea to try to combat crime by really generating a unity in terms of bringing all the different branches of law enforcement and developing a concept that was to help stop the border crimes. And it was very effective. You brought in Joe Santiago. You set the stage for Irvington. And now Irvington is really catapulting to another level in terms of making sure that things are really being protected. And on the same level, when we talk about Newark and East Orange, the kind of concepts that now we are beginning to experience are the need for individuals to find out how to get employment. Have there been any established ways in which there have been evaluations or surveys created on a broader spectrum that can identify with the problems that we're having with employment and what we can do about it?
Well, I think, and I'll quote Mayor Baraka in a reflection of most urban communities, is that there's got to be a concerted effort of all the stakeholders in those particular areas that employ people to make sure the indigenous population, the people who live there, get employed. So most urban centers, whether it's the Board of Education and Housing Authority, and then they're huge corporations, if they exist in their particular cities, a lot of the employment comes into the city. So how do we make a focus? Because there's always the question of, do we have the qualified candidates for those jobs? Yes, there are some candidates, and how do they get in the pipeline for employment? So whether it's government leaders, and government can't do it always, so chambers play a role in that, they can play a vital role in that. And there's got to be a focus between government and the finance and academic community to make sure that those opportunities are available to local people as well. And so how do we do it? The carrot is, maybe there's some opportunities, or we restrict some opportunities for you to have business if you don't hire local. And so those things, the carrot and stick approach has to work, but we would hope you can. Mayor Baraka said it very well about Newark the other night. He said, you can't just invest downtown. You got to invest in all of Newark for all of Newark to grow. And so that's the ethos that he's bringing to it, and I applaud that particular ethos. So we have work to do as a society. And how do we create that fundamental fairness about employment opportunities? And we also have to be cognizant that there's growth in suburbia, and whatever those kinds of jobs are. So you have to look at the skill level in every sector. So if there are certain jobs that are located in the suburbs, whatever the skill level, how do we get some of them? The transportation corridors have to be developed. Newark has a great transportation hub, so they could probably get to anywhere in the region if they had to. But we also have to be aware of those opportunities. So kind of like some of the mix that I see in the suburban communities, and also having my hand in my old neighborhood can facilitate some of that. And there are other individuals positioned as I am who can help facilitate some of those.
When we think about the opportunities that you have now created and developing ways in which you can draw more people to be actively involved, fundraising is part of that relationship. And as we shared earlier, that on this Saturday coming up, because today is the 22nd of March, which is a Tuesday, Carolyn Wallace is going to be celebrating her birthday.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to say happy birthday to you, Ms. Wallace. Mine was last week. I celebrate 60
belated.
years
Happy
of living
birthday
now. All right, what are you,
you.
62?
Yeah,
60,
no,
65, 60.
I'm old enough.
But the alumni now is beginning to see much more of an advantage because they have a vision. The Alumni Association within itself has a variety of different individuals who have come through that institution. How have they become a part of this new challenge?
So we're engaging them. Some of the alumni will be coming in from out of town, like Terrence Holmes and others, to be supportive. They've come. They've built some relationships for us that are interested in helping us with our capital program. But we do expect more, and we know people are busy. But if the International Youth Organization affected your life in any way, we appeal to you to come back home, and if it's not $1 a month, if it's $2, whatever you can give, and of your time and expertise. So if you're a lawyer, a doctor, accountant, if you can just buff the floor, we'll take that too. And so we have to make a clarion call. The bridges that got us over have to be restored so we can help some other young people get over. And so our clarion call via this show, Herbert, is that the alumni, and then we got tons of them in the police department. I think Mitty Baraka played on one of IYO's sports team. I think the mayor himself actually came through IYO. So there are tons of us out there who have just done some achievements. And by achievements, I mean, we're not talking about anything extraordinarily. If you have stayed out of trouble and have built a life for yourself and your family, that's a perfect example for the young people that we serve. And we need to engage them more. We need more players and hands on the field. You know, Mayor Baraka also issued another challenge in light of what's happening on the national level, is that we have to now do more than we've ever done, and creating model programs won't always depend on what the government do. Now, the government should do what it can.
Right.
We're not absolving that responsibility.
But creating entrepreneurs.
We got to do some stuff. We got to do some
ways
stuff.
in which you
Absolutely.
can be able to create a job rather than look for a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the development of the association in terms of you being part of the Chamber of Commerce should also add value to it.
Yeah.
And again, on March the 31st, you're going to be having a meet and greet. And you're looking for
March 30th.
March 30th.
Yeah.
And looking for an opportunity to be able to grow an existence of a communications level.
Now, we have one other piece that we're doing. We're actually engaging a water company.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're looking to it's sort of a business development model for young people, minimum age 16, but adults can apply too.
Okay.
It's creating a distribution channel of this particular water here in the city of Newark.
Okay.
And so we'll be having that at IYO from 1 to 6 on the 29th.
Right.
If you're a business-minded young person who wants to learn how to develop maybe a part-time business, and your parents can work with you if they care to, but we will work with you. But the minimum age is 16, and it's 16 on up. So come between 1 and 6. Come in a business-like fashion, like you want to represent something. Now, if you don't have a suit and tie, that doesn't preclude you.
Right.
But come with a serious attitude, and we can work with you to see if we can develop this relationship that starts some young people about the idea that they can develop a small business, and we'll have professionals train them on how to get this going.
Okay. Well, listen, we want to make sure that everybody is aware of our partnership. Again, we're back together, and as I often have said, anytime that you want to be able to get in contact with Mayor Wayne Smith, you just got to yell, "Yo, Wayne!" and he's
973-204-5639.
How about that? And his relationship is definitely going to be solid. So everything that we talked about this evening, you'll probably be able to find it 10 years from now. All right. We want to thank you all for tuning in, and we want to thank Mayor Smith, former Mayor Smith, the chairman of the International Youth Organization and the president of the Chamber of Commerce of South Orange, for coming in and giving us an opportunity.
My pleasure.
To build that bridge again. Keep those bridges building. Okay. Thanks again, my brother.